everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video will be all about feet and straps. The benefits of feet and straps is to develop and control leg movement using the abdominals, low back, and whole pelvic muscles. So let's get started. I'm going to flip around onto my reformer. I'm going to be on one red and one blue. So on my reformer, that's one heavy and one medium spring. Scoot all the way down, lying onto your carriage. Shoulders close to the shoulder blocks, but not crunching. Both feet will start onto your foot bar. Find your strap. I'm going to kick off with one of my legs. Usually it's the opposite side than what I want to put my foot in. So press all the way out, finding a little bit of slack onto my strap. Place my foot, get tight, so find tension. Grab your other, let me find it, here we go. And I'm going to use this foot to stabilize, bringing my other foot up, connecting that strap into both arches of my feet. So now I'm nice and strong. Now check in with your tailbone. So if your tailbone is already starting to lift off that carriage, we want to roll down, pushing away into that strap so the tailbone is completely heavy onto your carriage. From here, I'm going to open up my chest, staying wide, pointing my toes, and my legs are about hip distance apart. So I'm not letting them flare out and I'm not bringing them all the way together. Check that alignment, take a little glance. Once you find that alignment, you're going to take that deep inhale to prep. Exhale, start to lower those legs down towards your foot bar. I'm only going as low that I can maintain a neutral spine. So anything further, and I'm really starting to arch in your back, you'll start to feel it, that's too low. So bring those legs a little higher, tailbone is still heavy, natural curve in my spine. Legs will come up. Stop right before that tailbone lifts, lower again. So this is our lower and lift, just starting to find that pelvic stability. So your abdominals are starting to engage, and they're connecting to the bottom of my hips, all into those pelvic muscles, so which makes up our powerhouse. The low back muscles, pelvic muscles, abdominals, powerhouse here. So this is where all our strength and control comes from in any form of movement. And that's why this is so great, because it helps strengthen and stretch those muscles for optimal movement in day-to-day life. Nice deep breaths here, moving fluidly in those legs. So I'm really active in my legs. I'm not just like pushing away. I'm staying mindful and moving with intention, really pushing into those straps and trying to push through those knees also. So I'm nice and long and lengthened. And I like to spend a couple minutes in each of these exercises. There's no rush in feet and straps. We'll get a few in here. You might feel a little wobbly, that's okay. That's just your muscles starting to engage, staying in control of the movement. One more. Come back up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to start to open up those legs, circumduction. So out and around, making a circle, leg circles, back up towards the ceiling. Right before that tailbone lifts, open up, nice and long. Push, squeeze, feel those inner thighs activate, bringing the legs together, sweep back up. So now we're really lubricating out those hips. Tight hips being caused by sedentary lifestyle, if you're a desk sitter for work, if you have long drives, our hips tend to get super tight. So lubricating them out with some resistance will help strengthen those hip muscles, plus feeling a deep stretch all the way down the leg. Identify if one leg wants to move faster than the other. That's usually your dominant side taking over. We all have one. Try not to let it. So stay mindful and enjoy how this loosens up, starting to feel more flexible with each circle. my abs are really engaging, especially as I go on that wide part of that circle, because now they're stabilizing to help bring those legs back to center. And again. Make sure you're breathing long and strong here. Deep breaths, sending oxygen through those muscles. I'm going to come back up, and then I will reverse it. So now, lower the legs down towards the foot bar, sweep out, down, back up, and around. And again, lower. So we're reversing it here. Out and around. And again. No rush, take your time with it. You can play with internal rotation of the toes or external rotation. So again, that's providing a little bit more control in what the hip is doing. So here I'm in internal rotation, feeling those inner thighs really work for those adductors. And then if I externally rotate, point the toes out and away, opening up, that's my abductors, those outer thigh muscles now working. So if you go between the two, you can feel the differences in what part of your muscle groups are working, stretching. Get one more here, come back up. From here, I'm going to lower about 45 degrees or halfway down, connect my heels together, so I'm in that what we call Pilates V or external rotation. Really squeeze those inner thighs. So I like to feel like I'm zipping them up, all the way up, so my lower abdominals engage. Super glue those heels together. Arms are down and long. Start to bend those knees in towards your shoulder blocks. Right before that tailbone lifts, exhale, press. And again, bring them in, connect those heels, exhale, press, good. Use your breath, go slow. You're resisting those springs. So this is where you start to feel those legs really fire up, a little bit of strengthening here, because you're having to really press out onto those heels. Whoop, slid there, and again. Inhale, bring it in, exhale, press. Really starting to feel those inner thighs. They'll start to burn. These are also called froggers. We'll get a few more. And all the way out. From here, I'm nice and long. So I'm going to get in what is called a short spine. This is going to be a beautiful stretch on your lower back. I have a video coming out all about low back pain exercises and the benefits and what will help, and this is going to be one of them in there, so please stay tuned. So I kicked my legs all the way out behind me. Here, I'll go back right until my carriage hit my stopper. My tailbone, you can see, completely lifted off here. That's a good thing. From here, I'm going to keep the heels connected, stay lifted in my hips, so really use those arms. Push into the carriage, stay lifted. Heels are into those shoulder blocks. Now I'm going to roll from the spine. Starting to drop the hips as I roll down. Nice and controlled. Deep stretch in that low back. Oh, that feels so good. You'll feel a nice release all the way down, tailbone hits. Press out. And again, we'll start with another one. Allow those feet and legs to lift, keeping the heels connected, all the way over my head, and drop those knees, bend, nice round spine, hips are lifted. Start to roll down, one vertebra at a time, melting into that carriage. Oh, feels so good. And press. We're gonna get a few in here. Low backs tend to be extra tight, depending on lifestyle and just in general. So this exercise is really good to help relieve some of that. And again, lift, lift, lift. Carriage hit stopper. There it is. Bend my knees in nice and wide, keeping my hips lifted, so really scooping. Then roll down. Nice and slow, deep stretch in that lumbar spine and press. Let's get one more. Here we go. Lots of abdominal engagement and strength here as well. There it is. Connect, roll down all the way. Nice, and press. Okay, from here, I'm going to grab onto my ropes, bend my knees in towards my chest, separate the feet. Okay, so how wide you go is up to you, what works for your hips. This is called our happy baby. So I'm going to sway side to side from my spine with control though. So that's why you're holding onto those ropes so that you don't go so far over that you fall off. We don't want that. Staying in control of the movement all the time in Pilates. You're gonna feel a nice massage in that spine. It's rotating, rolling into that mat. I'm gonna keep my heels towards my glutes, still holding onto my straps. Kick one leg out, doesn't matter which one, I'm going with my right first, out to the side. This is giving my inner thigh a huge, deep, active stretch. So you might start even shaking, allow it and breathe through it. You can point and flex those toes a little bit, getting into the ankles all the way down the tendons into that foot, all while I'm keeping that opposite knee bent, allowing that leg to really open up. A few deep breaths. Is pretty intense, so just breathe. And then when you're ready, you'll help bring that foot back in. That's why we're holding on. And then we'll get to that other side. Kick out. One side might feel different than the other. That's okay. Stay within your range. You should feel a deep stretch, but if you're straining, don't go so far. You can always go halfway too. And a few point and flexes in those toes. I feel this all the way down my leg. And back in. From here, I'm coming to parallel with those knees and legs all the way down my foot. Settle that tailbone heavy again. I'm in tabletop position, but separating, so thighs are in line with hips. I'm gonna go for that bend and stretch, so I'm pushing through the heels. And back in. So I'm activating my glutes now. My toes are towards the ceiling and not completely flexed back towards my shins. That's my shins taking over. So try and stay mindful, like your feet are up against a wall. And then just bend and stretch from there. Really stabilizing. This is really helping to strengthen that pelvic stability. So important for all movement. And even though it feels good, there's a lot of work happening here, a lot of control, a lot of strength and stabilizing from those abdominals, low back, legs. And I'm still staying active in that whole posterior chain up my spine. We'll here for 3. Last 2. And 1. Okay, last one here. Grab those ropes. Bring the soles of the feet together. So my knees and my hips are opening up fully, nice and wide. Bottom of my feet are together. Now I'm going to push those feet down into that well or towards the springs. And this is where we get to relax. Few deep breaths here. You can have that nice arched your back. Allow the hips to open up. The deeper breaths you have, the more your body will release and allow that hip opener to happen. Deep stretch in those hip flexors. Still connecting those ribs on every exhale. If you want a little bit more of a lower back stretch here, just bring the feet up a little bit. And then that lower spine will start to curve and round, giving it a stretch. So go between the two. They both feel really good depending on what your body wants, what it's asking for the day. when you're finished, you can take one strap off, reach for that foot bar, hang it up behind you, take the other off, come in nice and slow. We've been lying down for a little bit here. And then slowly roll up. Feet and straps is something you can do on the reformer every single day. It'll never get old, and it's just pure magic. So I hope you enjoyed that. Stick around for more. I'll be back with new content very soon. Thank you.